Hi guys, in this video we're going to talk about solo cook sets. As you can see in front of me, this is the majority of my solo cook set gear. We're going to talk about different materials, different types of burners, different types of fuels, different types of cookware such as titanium, aluminium. We're going to talk about how they all fit together. We are also going to talk about compact solutions, ones that aren't so compact but ones that are good solutions for different types of scenarios, and it's going to get a little bit geeky, but that's what we're here to do. Hopefully you can take some information away with you so you don't waste money like I've done on trying to find the perfect cook set for your needs. And let's go over each individual piece of equipment. First up we have the windscreens. The blue one, this one here, is the Fire Maple windscreen, and it's aluminium and you can fold it out, and it's about 6 inches tall and it works pretty well. The next one is about 4 inches tall. It's kind of robust aluminium foil, works quite well. It's quite small. I would only use this for alcohol burners, to be honest. The next one is a bit larger one. This is about 7 inches tall, quite sturdy. Has a nice big diameter, quite cheap as well. Folds up, you can stuff it inside pockets very easily, you don't really know it's there. Next we have our alcohol burners. These are very popular for people who would like to do lightweight cooking, and they store quite easily in the cook sets. On the left we have the titanium cross stand, which is really useful if you want to put them on the different types of alcohol burners, because it actually raises the flame up so you get the hotter part of the flame. Most of the time this is needed if you don't have some kind of windscreen or a pot stand or a fire stove that actually helps keep the pot in place above the burn. So like I say, that's the titanium cross stand. Very light, folds away, really good piece of kit. Here we have the Siphon alcohol stove, which is also titanium. It's really light and it is a great stove, but sadly you can't rest a pot on top of it and still have the burners going. You would need to use the cross stand. Now once it blooms, it doesn't really have a really wide flame, which is why I like it. It has more of a jets that go into the centre, so this is more suited for smaller pots. Moving on, we have the ever new titanium alcohol burner. A lot like a Trangia stove, but it does have more holes, as you can see, which is a really good feature because it outputs quite a lot of heat, so it will cook your food a lot better, well, a lot faster, sorry. You can use this with a pot on top, so if you were to place a pot, the top rings would go out and the outer rings would still burn. So if you don't have a pot stand, that's pretty handy. If you wanted to get more heat output, you would use the cross stand, such as like that, or you would also go a step further and put it inside a Bushbox, like a portable stove, to get the ideal height for the pot. Now, depending on the size of the pot, it does depend on how much heat output it does use and how quickly it cooks your food or boils your water. Next up, we have something called a white box stove. This has been made out of recycled aluminium bottles. Really lightweight. It is quite large, but it is quite tall, so it's not very sturdy with a large pan with heavy food on. There is a huge bloom that comes out of these holes here, which is really good if you want to have a high output stove. It does require quite a large cooking pot, so it's not really my first choice. And next up we have some simple alcohol burners, which I purchased off eBay. As you can see, they are very small. Because they are so small, you're not going to get a lot of heat output, so it's going to take quite a while and be quite prone to some wind. Okay, next up we have the Sea to Summit bowl, as you can see here, and we also have the Sea to Summit cup. Now these are called the X bowl and the X cup, and these are really quite light for what they are, and they pack down to really thin, so you can store these pretty much anywhere, which is really convenient for cups and bowls. As you can see, they come up. Try this one-handed, which is a decent sized bowl, can fit probably 500 millilitres of water in there, which is quite a lot, probably more than that. And here we have the cup, which is a really decent sized cup, to be honest. I like a large cup of tea or coffee, so that works really well. Now we move on to the cutlery set. Variety of different things here. We have an Esbit fold away spoon, which, as you can see, goes over there, and then you move along the secure mechanism, so that keeps it nice and secure. Really nice, fits inside my cook sets very well. Take one of these everywhere. And we have the equivalent knife. This is a sickle titanium spork, bottle opener on the end, quite handy. It is a bit longer than most other spoons, so you can get into dehydrated meal packs with that, so that's good. Here we have a spork. This is very handy if you have non-stick cookware, as all the rest of these would simply scratch it all the time and the non-stick would wear out. Very lightweight. The next up we have a long spoon from Sea to Summit. This is actually aluminium spoon because I've got the titanium version because I thought titanium would be lighter and stronger, but actually the aluminium spoon is actually lighter, stronger and cheaper. So don't get the titanium one, get the aluminium one. Next up we have the Esbit titanium knife, fork and spoon set. Pretty much, you know, as it says on the tin, comes a little carabiner, comes in that, packs away nicely, nice and light. Next up we have a simple measuring device for your alcohol if you decide to use alcohol, and there is a very lightweight cup. If you want to keep things minimal, then that will serve as an excellent drinking device for whatever you need. Next we have the Esbit 985ml stove and cook set, and I'll open this up later, but in this cook set you basically get your cooking pot, a lid, a Trangia burner, and also a stand for the Trangia burner and something to put your Esbit tablets on. It's quite handy. Not really for me, I've not really took it out in the field yet. I really should do and do a full review. This cheeky little number is the titanium 1.1 litre pot. This is a good pot. It's quite wide, but the good thing is you can fit the larger gas canisters in. We'll go into more details as soon. And this is my first choice for any cooking solo trip, is the Primus Litech kettle. This thing's great. It can hold enough water or food for anything you need for a solo trip. You can fit a large gas canister in there, you can store stuff in the bag, you can put your stove head in there and put the lid on securely. Really good. Next we have a simple 450ml titanium cup. Again, it's just a cup. You can't really nest anything in there except for alcohol burners and fuel. Next up we have another cooking pot, titanium again. This is a 750ml cooking pot. Comes with a lid. It's really good. This is my first choice if I'm not too bothered about saving loads of space inside my pack. It also fits in a titanium stove head, little spoon, bit of towel, a spork and a small gas canister. Next up we have a variety of Bushcraft Essentials Bushbox outdoor pocket stoves. Now these come in loads of different shapes and sizes. This one here, which I shall take out for you later, is the normal outdoor pocket stove. Here is the ultralight version of the same stove, quite a different design, and this one is the XL version. This is quite heavy, so I wouldn't really take this in a solo trip. But again, we're going to open all these up soon. Okay, now on to my alcohol storage devices. These are basically Nalgene bottles. I think they are 60 millilitres. These. That is probably 120, and that's probably double, so 240. These are pretty good for storing alcohol in, or other liquid fuels. Really secure top, lightweight, quite a sturdy bottle. You're not going to pop these inside your pack or run into any trouble. Here we have a Nalgene bottle. I think this is important to include in the kit because we're going to nest these with the devices and you can see exactly how they all go together. As you can see here, we have a Jetboil. This is the Jetboil Flash. I really like this. Sadly, it's not my first choice for taking on a solo cook set. Simply because it's not, I don't think it's diverse enough really. But we'll go into more details soon. And back here we have a stainless steel bowl. Again, it's really strong but a little bit weighty. Okay, let's get started. I'll go for my favourite cook set at the moment, which is the Primus Litech Trick Kettle. As you can see, it comes in a mesh and non-mesh side bag, which is handy if you have items such as a spork and they get caught in the mesh but they don't get caught in the side. Let's just take it out of this bag. As you can see, we've already got a plastic spork in there. There we have it. Now this solo cook set has pull-out handles, which I'm not really keen on this type of handle, but it does keep the heat away using silicone grips, and it is very sturdy, so it's more of a personal preference. But here we have the lid, which also doubles up as a very small frying pan. Let's just compare it to an Nalgene bottle, just so you can get a point of reference. Now, this will be handy for frying eggs, making a little bit of scrambled egg, maybe the odd sausage or two. I mean, you might have to cut them up before you make them, but it's a good backup option, and obviously it serves as a lid. I do believe it is 1 cup of water in size, so you can boil water very quickly, or use it as a measuring device for the actual kettle itself. And all you do with the handle is just squeeze it and it goes back like that. Now in the Primus kettle I do have a gas burner head. Nice and small, doesn't weigh too much. Use a bit of towel to make sure it doesn't go rusty, or keeps it away from the non-stick. A little bit of a sponge, because you know food sticks no matter what you do or anything like that. I've also got a 250 gram gas canister in here. This fits perfectly in this kettle, which is what I really like about it. And in order to keep the non-stick protected, I use some more cloth. And that's the inside of the kettle. Say non-stick throughout. I wouldn't use titanium or metal cutlery on this because over time it will wear away. That's why I use the plastic spork. Nice and big enough for that. It has got a pouring spout, which does work really well. It has got some rings on the bottom which helps conduct heat from alcohol or the gas, and that worked well as well. Yeah, so it's just basically just a really good solo cook set. Everything fits in there that I needed to. As you can see, nice and easy. Sponge, head, locks away, no rattle, goes back in the sack very easily. This is my first choice when I'm doing a say 1 to 3 night trip on my own, or if I'm just cooking for myself. Really good. It's aluminium, non-stick, light, very affordable. It's not going to bend anytime soon. You can give it quite a bit of abuse and it will last. And that's what I like about it. It costs about £27 last time I checked. A lot cheaper than titanium, a lot more robust and non-stick, so there you go. One more thing with the Primus Litech Trick Kettle. Sadly it doesn't have any measurements on it. It's not really a problem for me because I always measure using Nalgene bottles, but obviously it's not always convenient. So before you do go on a trip, what I'd like to do is pour 2 cups of water in the kettle, and then just put a little mark on my long spoon or any other device, could be a stick for all we know, just to see where it comes up to for 2 cups of water. That way you can quite easily tell how much water's in there, and if you've got a dehydrated meal you can basically not ruin it by getting too much water or too little on the boil, so that's quite handy. So not really a problem if there's no measurement on the side, as easily get around it by using an external measuring device, Nalgene, or using a spoon and see where the water level comes up to, putting a little mark on there. Okay, moving on. This is the Esbit 750ml titanium cook pot. Here's the lid with a strainer and also a little catch which keeps the lid upright in case you need to take it off while it's on the burner or in a fire. So you just move it to one side, secures it, move it back so it goes flat. I really like this kind of setup actually because I can fit in a small gas canister, which I'll take out in a sec, and it's great for just an overnighter, 2 at the most, but you're going to be wanting making brews and meals, and 1 gas canister is not really going to cut it comfortably. So inside this pot we have a fold out Esbit spork, which is pretty much all you need. You're not going to scratch it too badly, being titanium, so it's fine. Could use a plastic one, doesn't really matter. Also fits in the pot is a Vango, I think it's a Vango Ultralight titanium burner. This just folds out like that. That goes on top of your burner. And there you go. Quite sturdy. It's a bit of a scented flame, but it's not so bad, It's lightweight. And in that we also have a little bit of a sponge to help keep it clean. We also have the small Jetboil canister, which is a 100g one, or 3.53 ounces, and a bit of towel. Also comes with this mesh sack, which also fits in cutlery down the 2 little pockets on the side. I really like this setup actually because it's got fold out handles. Do get a bit hot on fire, but obviously you wear gloves and be careful. You can use it as a mug, quite a large mug. I like a large cup of tea, so that's not a problem for me. You can also use it in combination with a bowl, so you could make your dehydrated meal first, pour the water in the bowl, then go brew on. Or you could use it in combination with the cup, whereas boil your water for the brew, make your brew, and then boil water for your dehydrated meal, or you can put tin of beans in there, things like that. So what you can do, you can actually drink your brew and have your meal at the same time. This is my go-to system really for 1 to 3 nights, simply because I can store gas in there with the head, bit of towel, bit of sponge, put my cutlery inside. Such a compact piece of kit. And another big plus about this cup is it nests inside a Nalgene bottle very snugly. So if you haven't got anything inside it, or you've packed this separately, this keeps it nice and firm in your pack, so it's not gonna bend too much if it comes with a bit of impact. So really like this kit, very lightweight, excellent choice. Okay, moving on, we have I think this is the Tokes 1.1 litre titanium kettle. Comes in a nice orange stuff sack, which actually seals at the top to keep things secure. Has a little pouch for spork, long spoon, etc, etc. Can't really lose this in the dark, it's bright orange, but it's quite a large excuse me, it's quite a large pot, a lot like the 750ml one. Strainer, secure head. Not used this out in the field yet, used it for boil tests, just things like that. Same handles, basically like the 750ml, but quite a bit larger. Now what I like about this pot is you can fit in the larger gas canisters, as you can see here, and you've also got room for the titanium gas head, sponge, spork, towel, and you've still got room to spare for other bits, maybe a bit lighter. This works really well with alcohol burners as well that require a bigger flame because it's got a wider base. Works really well with the ever new titanium alcohol stove and anything else really, so works well. It's quite a large bit of kit. I can't really see me using this much. Maybe if we were doing a dual overnighter, so if there's 2 of us, I would pack in the large gas canister, the stove head, and 2 sporks. Easy. It's a really good situation. It's a really good piece of equipment to have if there is 2 of you, and to save weight, using the other party doesn't need to carry a cookset. Plenty of gas for 2 people for overnight, maybe 2 nights for 2 people. Obviously titanium, lightweight, not very cheap sadly, but that's titanium for you, it's lightweight. Next up, if you are really minimalist, you can just go for the 450ml mug. This marries up quite well if you just want to take alcohol burners with you. Fits in a titanium ever new burner, nice and easy. Also the Siphon Tokes burner. Also fits in medium size fuel. Doesn't come with a lid, but you don't really need it because it's so small. Fold out handles, nice and lightweight. This actually marries up quite well using the siphon burner and the fuel bottle. Fits in there. You can also put in windscreen, folding spork, and that's just really much all you need. You can also put in the cross holder, as you can see here, and you've also got room in there for a little bit of sponge and big lighter, and you know, little tiny things that fit in a nice little slot. So like I say, that's if you're really concerned about size and weight. I have done a one-nighter in this, works perfectly well, but it's just a dehydrated food scenario. You can't really cook a lot in there unless it's soup, dehydrated food. But yeah, if you like the minimalist, that is the way to go. Next up we have the Esbit Cookset. Now this is compatible with alcohol burners and the Esbit fuel tablets. I'll just take this out for you. This is the lid. It's quite a nice, decent sized lid. Again, it's got these handles, not really too keen on, but I can't see any other design they could use that folds away and works. So, you know, that's the best case scenario, even though I don't like it. I must admit it is the best one. It's not non-stick, so things would stick, but once you've used it over 10 to 15 times, it does get a nice layer on there with resistance to scratches and to stick. Going further in, we have the Esbit burner, which is a simmering burner and can also be used to extinguish to save fuel. It's pretty much a Trangia burner, but with Esbit and a little slightly different design. Exactly the same. You can leave alcohol in there if you so desire. That's that. Also comes with a platform which you can put your Esbit tablets on to raise it up to a certain level. Flip it upside down if you want to raise it down a bit, or if you want to put the alcohol burner in there at a certain height compared to higher setting. We'll just take out the pot stand. This is the pot stand. It's got feet on there which screw into place. I think they are heat resistant. And this goes in here, like so. Put your tablet on there, or you would put in your burner like so. And here is the main pot itself. Again, mesh, no pockets sadly, but here's the main pot. It's 800 millilitres marked on the side and on the outside in reverse, so you can quite easily see how much water's to put in there. Fold out handles. Again, it's not non-stick, but it does the job quite well. Fits nice and snug, that's not going to go anywhere. And like I say, it works with the burner. It's the right height for the burner. Pour spout, good secure handles, interlock like that for a really secure grip. It's nice and lightweight, but to me it's just too many moving parts. I mean, if you're solely relying on alcohol and not gas or wood, it would be perfect. So if you are an alcohol guy or girl, then yeah, go nuts, give it a try. It's nice and lightweight, nests quite easily. Sturdy, I can't bend that much. Yeah, nice and sturdy. I would like to see a bit more wind cover, but not a problem. Windscreen doesn't fit in that one, but that one will, and it's large enough. Fits in, so that's not a problem. So that's the Esbit Cookset. Like I say, not my go-to cookset, but I like to have 2 types of fuel when I go, just in case. Okay, now we're going to look at the Jetboil Flash. As you can see, this is the Jetboil Flash version. It's a really nice compact design. It's got a lid on there which makes sure that you boil the water quicker. It's also got a bit of a bowl at the bottom with some measurements on. Very basic but very lightweight, gets the job done. Inside the main pot we have a 100-gram gas canister. Now it only fits 100 grams in, I do believe, at this diameter. So you're welcome to test other ones out, but I think it only fits the small versions in. Now the Jetboil Sumo does fit larger ones in, so that might be worth a look if you want more gas. Also in the bottom is the burner itself. It's really quite good actually. The valve folds out for controlling the burn. It's not very subtle at a simmer, but it's called the Jetboil for a reason. And it does have a push button igniter on there, as you can see. So that's really handy. It doesn't always work in very windy conditions, so it's always good to have a backup lighter. But that screws on to the gas canister, as seen. Really easily, nice and snug, not going anywhere. And we'll just fire it up, give you a look at the flame. There we go. As you can see, trying to get it down to a simmer without it going out is quite difficult. So there we have it. Next in the actual pot we have the pot stand. Now this didn't really come in the older versions of the Jetboil, and it's nice to see it's included now. And all you do with the pot stand is you put the feet out, sorry, the pot stand bit out, and then you rest it on top of the burner, and you can lock it in place. And the good thing about this is it fits a good size pots on there. That's the Esbit one. This is the 1.1 litre, and it will heat it up very, very quickly. So this is great to have if you have a kind of like a frying pan or even a titanium plate you can use as a frying pan, or even something small like that. It does make it quite a lot diverse, quite a bit more diverse with the pot holder, so that's good. So let's take that off. And then we also have in the Jetboil box a pot support, or a gas canister support to be exact, which makes it a bit more sturdy on spongy ground such as grass, pinewood forest, things like that. It does fit the other sized gas canisters too, just in case you bought one spare. And then all that's left is the actual pot itself, which screws on nicely once you find the bit. That screws on nice and tight, not going to topple. And then all you do, you fill the water up to the level that you need, or measure it out externally. Put the gas on, click it on, and it boils water in most times under 4 minutes for 2 cups, or is that 16 ounces or 490 millilitres, something like that. It's not my go-to kit, simply because it's more of a water boiling device. I mean, the pot stand is a really welcomed addition to it, because then you can take another type of pot and cook whatever you need on. But you are limited to what you can use. I mean, like I say, you can only use gas, and you wouldn't have to take another pot along with it to do any other type of cooking. People do cook meals in here, but it isn't non-stick, and they do always complain of burn marks at the bottom, so it's quite easy to ruin your cup, and a replacement cup costs about £40 to £50. Like I say, it's not my go-to kit because it's not really diverse enough, but if you simply want to make dehydrated meals and make cups of coffee and tea, it is absolutely outstanding. It's excellent. It makes it in, say, 4 minutes, and it's good enough to do for 2 people as well. So that's the Jetboil Flash. Oh, before we go, it also has a temperature reading on the side which glows orange when it's very close to a boil. So there we go, that's the Jetboil. Okay, let's move on to the alcohol burners. Now, I've given these a quick test, these small alcohol burners, and because of the output, the heat output on them, it does take quite a long time to boil water with it. But they are very cheap. I've got these off eBay for £3 to £4 each, and the simple alcohol burners, and that's all they do pretty much. This little one came with a little pot stand if you wanted to make a quick cup of tea using a little mug, but like I say, it would take quite a long time to boil any water, and they're very prone to wind resistance. So they're not really that great, let's be honest, so I'll put this to one side. First we shall look at the white box stove. Like I said, this is made from recycled aluminium bottle. It does store quite a lot of alcohol in there, but you can see a bit of a line here, which is just below the outside holes of the jet. Now this does burn alcohol quite quickly because of the amount of holes and the size of it. This means it's good if you have large pans, such as a frying pan or a big pan. It does boil water quickly because of the heat output. So if you were to place one of these 1.1 litre titanium pots on there, it would boil water quite quickly. It won't go out when you put the pot on because the outside ring still burns while the inside one just extinguishes. So you can use it as a pot stand, but because it's tall and not quite a big footprint, I would advise against it, simply for safety reasons. And the good thing about this white box, you can actually you can nest it a little bit. You can put Nalgene bottles in there, such as that one. That nests quite well with a larger Nalgene one. You can also put smaller ones in there, such as that. Or you can put a windscreen in there. Doesn't fit very well actually. You can put your measuring cup, but like I say, it's not my go-to stove anymore. I've tried it a few times. Doesn't really work out for me. But saying that, it does come in with the weight of 31 grams, so that's light. Next up, we have the siphon stove by Tokes. As I said before, the flame doesn't really come outwards, it kind of comes inwards into a jet shaped pattern, which makes it a lot better for the smaller pots, such as your 450ml cup, your 750ml cup, or your 1.1 litre pot. It does require some kind of pot stand, but I often put this in my Bushbox Essentials stove, or firebox, or whatever it's called, and that keeps it a good amount of distance away and acts as a pot stand, so you put your pot on top of that. The siphon stove has a nice weight of 21 grams, so that's really light, and it does hold quite a large amount of alcohol, as you can see. So that's really ideal. Another good thing about this is you can nest it with other items to save space, and you can also put your windscreen in there. You could force a smaller bottle in there and things like that. This siphon stove is quite good, so I would really consider it taking on a trip, because basically it's so light and you can nest it with certain things, and this fits on top of a Cookset bottle perfectly, which I often use for storing alcohol for up to a 4 to 5 day trip. Next up we have the ever new titanium alcohol burner. It's a lot similar to the Trangia burner, but it doesn't have a screw top on or a kind of seal, so you can't store the alcohol in it. It comes in a very lightweight of 36 grams, which is absolutely superb. And the good thing about this is you can use it as a pot stand. As you can see, you can put a pot on top. It's sturdy enough, and the outer rings will still burn, which means it's quite a good scenario if you like to simmer things, because the heat output will reduce, less flames, and you'll get a simmer. If you did want to use it at full flame, you can simply put the cross stand on, and also use it as a pot support, as you can see there. This is my go-to burner, simply because of the heat output and how you can subtly adjust how much alcohol you're burning. It also nests quite well with mini fuel. If you didn't want to nest it, it doesn't really nest that well with that one. If you didn't want to nest it, you can store your windscreen inside, and then you can also put your cross stand in there as well, along with items of cutlery. So it does keep it quite nice and compact, or you could basically store it like that. But it's such a lightweight option that it really goes well with things, such as it fits nicely in the 450ml cup. So if you wanted a really light setup, you could put that in there, put some alcohol in there, windscreen, cross stand, and a few select items of cutlery, and it is quite a compact system. So you could put some towel in there and some sponge. Stops it from rattling around that much. I mean, you can obviously do better than this video, but that's what you can do. It also fits quite well with the 750ml pot, because you can simply put it in the pot, windscreen in, plenty of room, you know, lots of different types of cutlery. One more point about the alcohol burners. A lot of people do moan that they can't screw on the top like you can with an Esbit, sorry, the Trangia one, and save the alcohol for later, as you can do with this. But I've seen it's not really a problem, because there's a very simple workaround to store the alcohol again. Once the burner has cooled down, basically make sure the flame is completely out for safety reasons, obviously. Unscrew the top of your alcohol, take a windscreen or some kind of flat device, put it over your pot, and simply pour the alcohol back in. Make sure you get it all out, burn off the excess, and you're saving some fuel. That way you know exactly where your alcohol is at all times, instead of having two devices, which one of them may leak. So that's a quick workaround to save some fuel. Okay, let's go over the different types of Cookset I have then. basically, depending on what you're going to do and where you're going, you'll either want a normal weight, a lightest option and a ultralight option. My normal weight one would be the Primus kettle one, simply because it's really diverse. You can put it over a fire, you can use the gas, you could use an alcohol burner. It boils water relatively quickly and it's good for pouring. This one comes in with a full tank of gas, I do believe, and the burner. This one weighs in, over here. This one weighs in at 652 grams, which is still pretty lightweight for a Cookset. Next we have the light option. Now this is basically my 750ml cup, titanium small gas burner head, towel, sponge and a 100g gas canister. The lid for this is not present at the moment. There's this one, and there's the lid. So the lid for that is on now, so we'll weigh it in. And that weighs 357 grams, so roughly half of the Big Daddy one. Next up we have the really light option. Now this basically consists of my 450ml cup, windscreen, cross stand pot support, not a lot of fuel, but like I say, if it's for like a day, it's not really a concern, and the titanium burner. So we put all this back in, weigh it in. That comes to 149 grams. Now if you're really concerned about weight, that is a really good option for you. Now with these Cooksets, I will often take the cup, see it's Summit X cup, because it's a nice large cup and you can boil your water for a brew, drink your brew while you're making your food. And this weighs in at 61 grams. So as you can see, you've got three options for a really lightweight setup, depending on how long you're going for, and you've got multiple options if you want to use an open fire, if you just want to use gas or alcohol, or if you just want to use alcohol. So there we have it guys, thanks for watching. I understand it got a little bit geeky, but the whole point of this video is to save you time and money so you don't buy the wrong kit and then look for even better kit, as I've done. Right, that's the end of the video, so I hope this has been informative. Sadly you'll never find the perfect Cookset depending on your needs, because it's all about the scenario, the type of fuel, the amount of nights you're away, and no one Cookset could ever fill that need. But it's nice to be able to share with you the experience that I've had with basically finding the right size of cups that marry up with the right size of gas or alcohol, and also just to save you money and time, because it does cost quite a bit of money to investigate all these things, and it's always nice to know that you could use a bigger kettle for open fires. The smaller ones you can't really use on open fires safely. Please like and subscribe to this video if you do like it. If you don't like it, please give it a thumbs down, because I need to learn and make better videos in the future. Just make sure you leave me a comment at the bottom of why you give it a thumbs down. And thanks for watching.